I always used to tease my wife that she's the pessimist, because every year she'd be like, "You're just going to lose to Gorman. What do you care? I would always have to tell her, "No, we got a chance this year. We got a chance this year."
That gap is still pretty wide right now between Bishop Gorman and Liberty High School.
I've been at the school since day one. I was on the staff when, we didn't win a game. We only scored 2 touchdowns our first year, got blown out by every 3A team. There was no mercy rule back then, so we had to sit there and just take the punishment. And to see the program go from that to a state championship was very special to me, and my family. They were right there with me. Very, very fortunate to be at Liberty High School. I really feel like we have the best high school, one of the best in America, because we're a very diverse school. We have every race, every type of religion and culture, everything's here at Liberty. And we've embraced the Polynesian culture. They've embraced Liberty High School. It started probably right away year one, actually. We had a few kids from Hawaii and of Polynesian descent. And then through the years, it just kind of grew.
When it comes to Bishop Gorman, it's just, there's no taking it easy on those guys. It's a game that you always want. It's the game that you dream of. Crowd's huge. Fans are going wild. Coaches are intense. Players are already in hype. It's that type of game, and it's almost the feel of a Super Bowl, to be honest with you. We want to be the team to beat Gorman for the first time in about 10 years in Nevada.
Because if we worry about Gorman, then everybody knows how that ends up. So instead of worrying about them, we try to fix our own mistakes.
We found ourselves in familiar position again, playing them at the end of the year, which is always what we were trying to do. We wanted to meet Gorman, whether it was in the state semis or in the state championship game. We felt like we had something different for them, something that they hadn't seen out of us. Through the years, we've tried a bunch of different strategies, a bunch of different styles of play. In the old days, we used to line up 2 tight ends with 3 running backs and try to ground and pound it, use some play action passing, and then we went to more spread, threw the ball a lot with Kenyon when he was here. And this year we felt like we finally had a true dual threat quarterback in Daniel Britt, and that might give us a little advantage when it comes to them, because he could extend plays with his feet. And knowing how hard it is to stop dual threat quarterbacks from the defensive side, we were hopeful that would give us a good chance against Gorman. We saved some plays for them. We didn't show a lot of film, and we were able to execute those really well in the game. And Daniel did an amazing job, especially once he got his nerves under control.
I believe everyone was just thinking there's going to be another year where they just blow us out, and that's just not exactly what we believed, because every single drive before we went on the field, we just had players with confidence. We had a coach, and Coach Morocco, that was just telling us we're going to go win this game every single drive, and every single one of us believed him. I think that was probably the difference. We kept running a certain play, and it was a draw desirous every play. And because when you got a running back like that, you can give him the load and he'll take it every single play.
Now Bowens, and that is the definition of the run setting up the pass and a touchdown.
Ben Hudson came on the blitz, DJ Herman also.
Liberty here, and Gorman will settle. Britt's going to throw, and he's going to tuck it down and run, and he's fumbled the football. And with a touchdown looming, he dropped the football. It sure looks like Gorman's got it, and they do. Oh, what a turnaround for Liberty.
We call a pass play, and I just saw a lane when I called the snap. I saw a lane and stepped up, ran it. I believe it was DJ Herman that was standing in front of me. I made a little move on him, the end zone's 5 yards away, and the ball just slipped right out of my hands. He didn't touch it. It didn't hit off anything. Just slips right out of my hands, and that could have been a 7-10 game. So right when I got up, actually, Zyrus was the first player to come up to me and be like, "That's out of your head now. Like that happened 5 seconds ago. That's out of your head." And I mean, I actually walked to the sideline with my head down. I was real sad. I mean, everyone's like screaming on the sideline. They're like, "You got to hold the ball." It's like, "Stop holding it like a loaf of bread." And I'm like, yeah, like I know, but at the same time, it's like, if I knew, I would have done it.
Just one INT and 133, but man, he's holding it like a loaf of bread.
We're down 17-3, and everybody, I heard that Gorman was going across the field saying, they're ready for Reno.
Our kids believe, and we got to get the ball first, and got to drive down and get some points.
And I felt like going into halftime at Gorman, even though we were down, I felt like we could have very easily been tied or even possibly been up. So when we walked into the locker room, the kids were already saying the message that we wanted to say. The leaders on the team, AJ Malulea was, he almost had the perfect halftime speech. I didn't even really have to say much. Zyrus got up and said some stuff, and as a coach, that's what you hope for. You hope your kids hear your message throughout their time in high school, and they start to see things, and that's when I really felt like, hey, we got a chance, because the kids believed. The leaders on the team, probably for the first time ever, really believed we could win. As the game went on, it just became more and more of this, like, oh my God, we can do this type feeling. So it was 17-10.
That touchdown did help us, not just on the scoreboard, but, mentally and emotionally. Our defense came out, stopped them when we needed them to. Our offense came out, and we ended up going down on drives and scoring.
We'll see if this can reap rewards. Gorman's defense has been on the field a lot in the second half.
Boy, they sure have.
Fade route for Bernard, he's got it!
So we came out of the huddle and we actually lined up in an even set, knowing that they were going to have a safety over the top of our slot receiver, and they were going to be running a zone on the left side, which is where Jeremy was lined up. And we planned on what we did. We motioned the slot guy from the left all the way over to the right, so the safety would move over the top. Corner ended up manning up, and that's exactly what we knew we were going to get. So I knew Jeremy, he's the #1 guy in the state, so I knew he was going to win over the top, so I took my chance, and he came down with it. Threw the ball, perfect catch, got his toes in the end zone.
We felt like they were getting so worried about Daniel with the running game, and they were bringing their safeties down, and they were kind of going one-on-one with our outside receivers, and we felt like, hey, let's take a shot. I think Jeremy can beat this kid. And the first one, he was so wide open, scored. We ended up getting the holding call, got it called back, and we knew we could go back to that again, and that it was going to be there. And he just rose to the occasion. Had to sit out his freshman year. He couldn't play varsity. It was big for him. He came to Liberty to beat Gorman, and so for him to do that in his first year is really special. We were driving and we scored, and the fans just went crazy, and just the energy on the sideline was at a level that I'd never felt before.
Something about Jeremy is he's literally that guy that you talk about. He's that it factor. Jeremy has it all. His feet are quick, and with how tall he is, he's probably the fastest player on our team. The kid's a speed demon. He's got hands that anyone would want to have. His routes are crispy, and he's just someone you can rely on a 3rd and 17 to get the first down no matter what. Whether it's a 5-yard throw to him, he's going to take it 30 yards.
Jeremy talked about that for a long time. Jeremy did talk about that for a long time, and so everybody was hyped because it was a big play. You're supposed to celebrate your teammates, celebrate your brother. So when Jeremy made that, amazing catch, we had even one of our players on the IR, one of his best friends, came on one knee and, started, acting like he was, some kind of god. And, the whole team was real fired up. We were like, yeah, you guys can ball, but we can ball too. And you guys have ballers, we have ballers. And, Jeremy showed that.
They got, their secondary is ridiculous. They got kids like Zion Brands, Jaden Hicks. They're a ridiculous defense over there. It's dominant. So, throwing at guys like that's not too easy. But, when you got the trust in your guys that they're going to go get it and they can beat them, That's where all the confidence comes from.
Bowen's going to walk into the end zone. Gorman regains the lead.
Like you can't really blame the defense. They've been doing their job all game long. They held them to 17 points. They let us come back, so it's tied up 17-17. And then he swept around the corner, scored on a little sweep play to the right. And I mean, again, I just went up to my guys right before we went on the field and told them, like, we're about to do that same thing. We're about to drive down the field. We're gonna go score on them. We're gonna punch them in the mouth. We're gonna do this.
6 minutes left. Big play here. Trying to keep the drive alive.
Tried to draw him offside
initially. Bernard, single coverage, top of your screen. Britt rolls right, looks downfield, wide open, Paseo. He's got it and spins his way and cartwheels down to the 25.
Coach Copps, who's our offensive coordinator, up top, he saw that they were the defense they were running, and that if we released Zyrus out of the backfield that he would be open. So I just made a check. Luckily, Daniel heard me, because sometimes when you try to check at the last minute, the kids don't hear it. So Daniel looked over, got the check from me, checked to the play, we call it sit, and Zyrus was able to slip out, and he was wide open in the middle of the field. That was a huge play in the game.
Well, there was no doubt that we were going to go for it. We called a timeout right before that play, I believe, and came to the sideline. It was 4th and 7, and actually it was supposed to be a run play, I believe, because we knew we were destroying the run all game, and we get out there and we see the defense is exactly what we've been studying on film. So I look to the sideline, my coach checks it to a pass play that we have that I was actually looking at on the field, and I didn't exactly see it, but on that play, Zyrus has a running back seam, and it kind of worked out, because I knew the outside backer on the right was going to blitz, and that's exactly where Zyrus was supposed to release at. So I ended up actually running that way to where he was blitzing from, because I knew I could get outside of him. And then when I actually got outside of him, that's right when Zyrus slipped down the seam, and safety over the top actually went with the corner route. So I kind of just dumped it right over the top to him, and he got around 20 yards off of it.
I was supposed to block a kid, and that kid ended up getting blocked out of nowhere. So I was like, okay, let me just run out. So I ran, and this is the first time Daniel had no one open and threw me the ball. We've done it many times before, during the seasons. Daniel, look out, and if no one's there, then usually I'm right down the middle, and thank you God that they had no linebackers in the box. The safeties are occupied with our slots and our receivers. So I was just wide open down the middle, and now it was all down to if I can catch or not. And I ended up catching the ball.
I gotta believe it's more scary for him to have to come down with that ball. I mean, in practice as a running back, you're not catching the ball every single day. So I give real big props to Zyrus for catching that ball and taking it. But I mean, he tripped at the end of it. I think he could have gotten a couple more yards.
It kind of put a lot of pressure on them, because if they stopped us right there, then it would have been a easy take a knee. But we kept fighting.
How about him stumbling with a head of steam coming at somebody?
Well, look out. Breaks one tackle, a second tackle, and he's down to the 7-yard line. Liberty on the march.
That play, I was pretty tired. And they said Zyrus getting the ball, and you can't complain getting the ball, so I ended up getting the ball. And so sometimes as an athlete, I know some kids can agree with me out there. Sometimes you don't know how you're still up. You're just still up, and that was one of those situations where I was like, oh dang, I'm still up, and it was just a natural reaction for my body to flow around and spin out.
Britt rolls to his right. He's got time, he's got room to run, and Britt's in the end zone!
Coach Bly, my quarterback coach again, was like, we were looking at the defense the whole time. I hadn't gotten that formation yet that game. It was just, so he actually told me, he was like, I'm not too sure this is going to be open, and you're going to have to run this. And I was like, I got you. Mo was flaring across on back of the end zone when I was rolling out, and my running back, I think it was Ed on that play, was leading for me in case I had to run. So when I ended up rolling out, I saw the linebackers blitz through the A-gaps, so I knew it was just going to be there. So when I was rolling out, I saw Moden back the end zone, but safety had him, he was running with him, so I just had the lane to go take it in. It's absolutely what you wish for. I mean, it's just, all your teammates are hyping you up. It's just, it's harder to explain because the feeling was like too good, but it was like a dream.
That moment, all the pressure shifted to Gorman, because their run of 10 years, beating us handily, never being in a close game with us, I think that switched back to them. And, we'd hope that our defense would be able to come up and do the job.
For sure. Bowens, play action. Going over the top, and it's double covered. 3rd and 21, Bones. He goes over the top, and it's almost caught at the 2-yard line. Oh, man.
The number 1 interception guy in the entire valley, is on the coverage.
Oh, he might have got a fingertip on that, but what a well-thrown football.
Wow, blanket coverage.
Overtime is a different game. It's whether or not people can strive through the hurt, the tiredness, the mentally drained. So it's all about who has, the heart and the pride to keep going.
To 3, have outscored the Gorman Gaels in the second half, 21-7 to tie this up and send it into overtime.
You would have said before the game, let's just play one fucking series, offense or defense, we can fucking
There, Liberty and Gorman has made it to overtime.
What a great game. Man, oh man. Yeah, I'd say that's the 1-for-1 all-timer for my LVTV. Got the 10-time state champions, Bishop Gorman High School, the Liberty Patriots here at home.
First down, carry goes too hot. He is wrapped up instantly, swarmed under by Garrett Villa. 6'2", 295 on the stop.
Yeah, boy, Villa, their nose tackle got off the snap in a hurry.
We were on defense first, and actually that first play, Garrett Villa, our nose tackle, stopped a run right up the middle, but Garrett was a guard for us all year, so he didn't get too many reps at tackle, and it was amazing seeing him be able to make that play.
Second down. Bowen slips, his knees down. Jim Cavan's right on the spot and blows the play dead.
Well, he ended up just slipping. I kind of joked with some people that we notoriously have a bad field here at Liberty, and the field probably made 4 tackles for us in that game, and that was one of them. That was a huge play. It's like they lost it down.
We were kind of thankful for, the field.
Bowens. Fade route, incomplete, but the flag will fly.
And they have one of the best wide receivers in the country in Romo Dunes, and we have a ton of confidence in our corners, Dante Bowers, and so we were just locking them up, playing man, straight man. They took a shot the first time, got the pass interference.
Over the middle, almost intercepted.
They had a play called, and I guess Micah tried to check to a slant pass. Rome didn't get the check. Rome thought he was still running, and then Micah threw the slant.
And they go right back to Rome, but Rome, from when I've talked to him, Rome said he didn't exactly know what the play was and thought it was a run play, so he wasn't expecting the ball. And Dante's just awareness is insane, so Dante bats the ball away. And you can see the frustration rising from Gorman. All the players they're real. Well, they all love football. they were definitely breaking down a little bit. I mean, we're just over here getting real hyped.
From the right hash, good snap, kick, duck hooked. It is no good.
It's kind of funny because I didn't even know he missed the field goal. Once I realized he missed the field goal, once everybody started cheering, and it's funny because you have, you know, our left tackle, London Tomontai, he's all the way down on the 50, or right here on the 20, and you know, he's over here celebrating, like, yeah, like it's our turn now, and so we had we had a lot of faith in us for our offense, our offensive line to, you know, take us down 10 yards and score.
It's harder than people realize in high school. The closer you are sometimes, that angle makes it tough.
After the field goal, you could tell we had them because, I mean, their guys are walking off the field with their head down. I mean, we're hyped. Our whole crowd is just screaming loud. It was the loudest you've ever heard Liberty.
Immediately I was like, oh my God, we won. I'm like, we're gonna win, because I got 100% confidence.
Right when he missed that field goal, he started screaming snake package, which again was that package I actually ended up breaking my face in. So he's screaming a snake package, and I'm actually not in for that package anymore. So it was our last year's quarterback, Noah Fawa. He goes in, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, man, this is all you, bro. Go win this game.
So first down, we decided just to run a little, I would call it our wedge play, where the fullback gets the ball and the whole pile just moves forward. We knew we'd only get 2 or 3 yards on that play. And then there was a timeout. Zyrus came over, and Zyrus is like, give me the ball, give me the ball. I'm like, you know, just shut up, let me think. We knew we had to give it to Zyrus. You know, he's been such a workhorse for us. I've had him around here since he was in 2nd grade.
My quarterback Noah came in the huddle and he was like, the ball's coming to you, bro, you better score. And I was like, okay. And so Noah turned around, tossed me the ball. I came in, and my line, you know, made the hole go wide open. It was, you know, real wide. You know, you could drop a bus through it.
Paseo's in the end zone. Liberty has beaten Bishop Gorman in overtime.
I'm just looking at the hole, and I'm like, wow, like this is, you know, just like my dreams. You know, it's all coming to life right now, and you know, I just run straight forward. I don't get touched. Well, it was one-on-one with me and their safety. You know, it's kind of hard to see, you know, the running back defenses at that point when, you know, there's a big cluster of people, especially the big boys. You know, it's hard to see the running back, so came through the hole, and he saw me, and I, you know, took 2 steps on the outside and crossed that goal line.
So that play went right behind Buzz, actually. None of our former starting linemen. And Zyrus just, it was a little pitch play that Noah, our quarterback, ended up leading through the hole for him. And Zyrus just went head up with Zion, and Zion couldn't tackle him. And runs in the end zone, and it was a ball game.
The whole team, that play that we scored on was just executed perfectly. The hole opened up gigantic. He went in virtually untouched.
Everything that led up to that point, you know, all the times me and, you know, my boys did, you know, extra things. You know, all those days I put in work, also my boys. But, you know, crossing that goal line was, you know, just unbelievable. I didn't think, you know, the first time in Liberty history of being in Gorman, I'd be the one. His name is Rain, my little cousin, who was, you know, right there with me, you know, being all emotional. You know, usually if we cry at home, we make fun of each other, but, you know, my little man saw me crying, and he didn't make fun of me, and, you know, at that point, you can just tell he loves football just as much as me. You can tell he loved that moment just as much as me.
You know, set off the celebration that anybody who was here or saw it on TV will probably always remember that's a Liberty fan. And just seeing the jubilation of the crowd and the people storming the field, yeah, it was really special. And, you know, after the win, and the next day we were riding high, and I got so many congratulatory texts and emails, you know, of other principals in town, other head coaches, obviously, you know, former alumni, random people that had no association with Liberty. It's just amazing. And it really has continued the whole year. More people, like to the average person, they thought that was the state championship game, you know, and there was so much more made of that win than the state championship win, that I think if you asked the, you know, person who's really not involved too much in high school football, they would have thought that was the state championship game.
It was crazy because once I crossed that goal line and I came to the track, I see like everybody in the stands just running down, and everybody's yelling, running down, and then all the alumni on the sideline ran onto the field. You know, we even had you know, old people come on the field, and they were real happy about that. I was waiting for my mom and my dad and my whole family to come down and, you know, celebrate, because we talk about that moment for years since I was a kid. And, you know, I was really, you know, just really waiting for them to come down and celebrate that moment with them, and to go to my boys right after, all my brothers, to celebrate with them, because, you know, it was a very emotional moment.
You'd think that there's other guys that would come before you and be able to do it, but I mean, it was never accomplished. And I mean, the fact that it's 10 years of no one beating Bishop Gorman in the state is kind of where, I mean, it still gives me goosebumps. Like right now, just talking about it. I mean, it's a memory that I'll forever have for as long as I live, and I was blessed to be able to do it.
For it to finally happen after, you know, it was my 11th year as coach at Liberty, and 10 of those years, essentially, the season didn't finish the way we wanted it to without a state championship. Man, I don't even know if I could describe the feelings that I had in that moment. And just seeing the jubilation of the crowd and the people storming the field, yeah, it was really special.
You know, I realized all my hard work, all my brother's hard work on the field, off the field, in the weight room, in the classroom, you know, all came to life.
We even wrote on the wall in the locker room, was signing our signature and just writing out the score of the game against Gorman. All the players were writing their signature on the wall. And Coach Rock, I mean, it's the best head coach to ever come through Nevada. I mean, he's one of the best head coaches to ever be on the West Coast, maybe even the country. It's just, Rocco's a real good guy on and off the field. He's a man that you can always rely on, go to, no matter what. And just being able to be coached by him and the rest of the staff it's something you could really not ask for. And I honestly don't think any other school has a staff like Liberty.
I was named Coach of the Year by the Raiders, and I went to each NFL team's head coach got to go to the Pro Bowl. And when I went there, every single coach there knew, you know, about Liberty beating Gorman, you know, which that says something, again, about Gorman, that they're a national brand. It was huge news, not just locally, but all across the country. You know, when I got there, the coach was like, "Oh, you're the coach from Liberty. Oh, congratulations!" You know, without me even having to say anything. You know, so it was very, very big win, and something I'm glad I got to experience, you know, at least once in my career.
The snake, and then just going straight ahead with the fullback. Quarterback sneak here.
Paseo's in the end zone! Liberty has beaten Bishop Gorman in overtime!
Wow, look at that celebration. Get a shot of the celebration on the field. It is ridiculous!
Everybody said, would the day come that Bishop Gorman
When will the day come?
lose a game locally? The day has come. Liberty gets them on their home field.
Hey, you know, Dylan Norton may not have kicked the field goal to win the game, but he made the tackle on the kick return to save the game.
What an incredible football game by both teams. This place is erupting.
Wow. Fans on the field. Holy cow. This is one of the biggest upsets in Nevada high school history.
This is a remarkable night, and the celebration we don't give trophies out in the postseason. But when this is over and Alex is down there with this Liberty team is going to let loose.
If she's going to be able to talk to him, but that right there, that's our play of the game. Go Auto Insurance reminds you, the best play you can make is to never text and drive, and the best play you can make is give the ball to Cyrus.
Congratulations to Bishop Gorman for one of the most dominant runs you will ever see in your lifetime.
Yes.
And hats off to Liberty for being the team that pulled off the upset. We're taking a break, but we're coming right back. This place is still rocking and rolling, taking his lumps against this team, and always had this night in mind.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, Coach Marco, congratulations. A long time coming. Probably one of the biggest upsets in Nevada high school football history. How you feeling?
I feel amazing. It's something that we worked so hard for. Everything I built this program around, and the coaching staff, the way we.
Cool him off.
Yeah, but I think Alex might have got victimized there.
That's okay. She doesn't mind.
Oh, man. Hey.
Big night here at Liberty.
Listen, Rich Morocco built this program, and, you know, it's not just the varsity either, Kenny. It's the youth program. I mean, he's built a factory that had so far to go to try to get to the day, to keep closing the gap, to eventually say, I got a shot to beat Bishop Gorman, and they pulled it off.
They did. You know, playing at home tonight, grass field, little difference, not the fast track that Bishop Gorman is or some of the other artificial, fields in town are, so
well, this
makes a difference.
10 consecutive Class 4A state titles for Bishop Gorman. That streak will end. Liberty faced them 7 times in the playoffs, 3 times in the state championship games, 4 times in the state semis. Last year lost to them 42-28, and that was like, hey, wow.
Right.
Wow.
That was
they're getting there.
That was closing the gap.
And tonight, forget closing the gap in one of the greatest games we'll ever see doing this on Thursday Night Lights. They kicked the door down in overtime.
Yeah, the only thing that could have made it better if it was for the state championship. They got 2 more games to win still to win a state title, I think the day they thought they were going to beat Gorman, it would be for the state championship. But now two games left. They got to win. At least they got to win the next one to get to the state title game.
Dare we? Let's show you some of the highlights tonight. But let's give you our MVP tonight. Was the quarterback. Britt was just spectacular. And Jeremy Bernard, what a player he is going to be.
Well, there's Britt. He used his legs and his arm tonight. Put his team in this football game and then win this game.
These 2 teams just went after it, and Britt was spectacular tonight. Remarkable. So next week, state semis, we will be at El Dorado High School. That will be the site. 3:30 pregame, 4 p.m. is the kickoff.
Yes.
And we're talking Desert Pines and Centennial.
Yes, what a great game that's going to be.
And you talk about
Centennial's had a year.
Loaded.
Yeah, Desert Pines undefeated coming in.
And by the way, Liberty just won themselves a bus ride.
Yes, they did. They're going to Reno.
Hey, listen, and again, congratulations. They don't want to hear it tonight. But the Bishop Gorman, an incredible run.
What a run. 10 years, congratulations. Dynasty.
And Rich Morocco, your coaching staff, your kids, you climbed the mountain. Congratulations. For Alex White, Kenny White, our entire crew, I'm Brian Blessing. A night to remember. It was a great football game. You can see it again Sunday night at 7 on MyLV TV. If you missed it, it was great.
For one game, we're going, baby. We're not done. One game at a time. Just another obstacle. We on to the next.